Hey friends, welcome to Empires and Puzzles. It's been almost 3 months and the event is going to be back soon, and hence the whole list is out. Yes, I'm speaking about Soul Exchange. Soul Exchange is at the fag end of this month. So let's dive in and see which heroes are gonna come. It starts on August 29, and we have the list of heroes out for all the three tiers: 10, 15, and 20 souls. So that's your top sheet. We have got Uwe, Aviana, Carmenta, Tinsel, and Hallstone in the tier of 10. 15 soul tier is going to be Bastit Costume, Erland Shang, Brimstone, Scorn, Reelius. Then moving to the 20th tier, it's going to be Acidfire, Lazara, Lodius, Star Walker, and of course Garten. So my thoughts on each of these heroes as per the tiers. So we're going to start with the 10 souls row, and it's the dark Uwe, the slow speed part of the gargoyle family. He has the soft skin passive, and these are the stats. Of course, I think this disclaimer needs to come out as early as possible. Whichever hero you choose, these are not going to be the current heroes, but certain period older, and hence their stats are going to be on the lower side. And with lower stats, you're going to require all the resources so that the heroes become usable and impactable. And that is LB225. Some of the heroes, when it comes, like, you'll notice there's poison damage of these fellows. So LB225 is going to really increase that to a higher number. So Uwe's claim to fame, apart from being Chain Blast Strike at slow speed, is 850% damage to the target. Now that's a killer strike. If the target has 50% health, before receiving damage, target another enemy. So he's the snipe away to glory, and the shift to another one is going to be the health part. Less than 50% health. And of course, we'll keep targeting. None of the enemies have 50% health and just targets a random enemy. Each enemy can be hit only once, so he is somewhat like that Ain. If hit enemies use their special skills in the next 3 turns, they get 725 poison damage for 5 turns. Again, similar to Ain, she used to give the host of, I think, some 2 or 3 different ailments. So that's Uwe. We move to Aviana. Now that is a hero of the month of last year. She is a fighter and has a passive. So that passive, if I remember, is a resistance to bleed. And the other passive, I can't remember what that is. So I'll move straight into the specials. Very dated numbers, but she had a good special for that time. Deals 300% damage to the target nearby enemies. Now, target nearby enemies are immune to new status effect buffs, which is fantastic. Caster and nearby allies get plus 50% critical chance. Now, this was fantastic. And of course, the Element Link gives a little dodginess of 5%. To Holy Fellows, since that year is gone, you can have multiple of the fellows and give that access of the Element Link to all allies if there are 2 of the 2024 family heroes of the month in the team. So when I look at this is really dated, though the special is pretty decent, and I think occasionally she still pops on some defense, which is very interesting. That's Aviana. We move to Carmenta. So Carmenta is part of the Mask Squad family. She has got that passive regarding cleanse of based on, I mean, some non-impact based on minions. I'm just, I'm going from my memory, so excuse me if some side point is missed out. That can be seen in the actual hero card when it pops out. This conversation is primarily to see which of these heroes could have some kind of a value, so you can do some research and identify which hero would make sense for you. And based on my time availability, I will try and do some tests, because I think this makes better sense, and I would be happy to invest some time in catching these heroes here and there wherever they are available to do some tests. The stats are extremely low, which means this is a very old hero and almost irrelevant today. When I go by the stats, Master of Ailments spreads all of the target's cleansable status ailments to nearby allies. The duration of status ailments is reset for the target and nearby enemies, and deals 495% damage to target and minor damage to nearby enemies. So 495 to single is fairly okay, but minor damage is half of that, and that's literally nothing. It's a poke. Of course, she will require all the LB2 and 25 nodes. So that's Carmenta, the fire element hero. We move to Tinsel. You look at her numbers, it's depressing. She's, I think, 3 years old in the game, or even more than that. Part of the Winter family, she is a wizard. I have not leveled her up. And she arrived 2 years or 2.5 years back. So Malevolent Toys at fast speed deals 340% damage to the target nearby enemies. There'll be pokes. Those elf minions are more painful because they screw the team. If you're carrying an appropriate anti-minion hero to whack them, then target nearby enemies get minus 14% defense and a further minus 5% decrease per each hide shield on the board, and capping up to minus 54% defense. Now, this is fantastic. When she arrived, minus 54% defense was absolutely a good requirement, and not too many heroes had. Even the costume of, I think around that it had arrived, Finlay's costume, because that gave minus 54, but she was extremely useful. And the next one is, the last portion of the special is brilliant. Target and nearby enemies get minus 10% accuracy, which caps, and based on the ice shield, it increases by minus 5 additionally per shield, capping up to minus 50% accuracy. Now, this is Impact 3. She's a goddess of Impact 3 when you look at this. Of course, very dated. Otherwise, when she arrived, wow, she was there on a lot of defenses. In the tier of 10, the last fellow is Hallstone. Of course, when he came, he's a construct hero. When he came, there was a little bit of fun and curiosity because of the 3-part special that he has, very customized. Bag of Necessities at average speed is a special. Of course, those stats are painfully low. And each ally receives buffs based on their current health. So if the ally had full HP, gets plus 50% attack and defense for 3 turns, plus 30%. Then above or equal to 50% health, the ally gets more defense and more mana gen. And below 50% health, the ally regenerates health, gets a plus 50% defense, and then ally counterattack. So there's survivability. So he provides some very unique buffs and survivability combos based on the health of allies. Really useful. Many times players put him as a tank, and then he became a jerk. When he just arrived, it was painful, but later it was fun knocking off everybody because you can keep sending tiles into him. So never put a healer as a tank unless it's a crazy healer like Nautica that will light up the other 2 fellows on side. So that's your Hallstone. We're going to move to the tier of 15 and then in the end speak about each of the tiers. So in the tier of 15, we've got Bastit, and this is the costume version of Bastit. that is being offered, which is really nice because you will get the costume bonus. And what is the difference between the two? Of course, this is a picture I'm using from the forum download, so I will not be able to go more in detail, but is not much different. There is a dodge, there is an impact of damage, and of course, each dodge gives plus 10% defense, which can stack up to 10, so it can go up to plus 100% defense. And of course, he has got the passives of dispel and so on and so forth, along with the family bonus, which should help improve that costume bonus, sorry, which should help improve those stats. So yeah, an impact all with a costume, which is pretty decent, I would say. The holy in tier 15 is Erland Shang, and it's really funny. My other game, Erland Shang, is coming, it is being introduced into the game now, which is next week. So it's really funny how the heroes happen to have similar names across many games. So yeah, this Erlang Shang is obviously a fighter class, so ability to revive, part of the Journey family, if I remember, from that family picture. That too many families, man. Very, very horrifically low stats. I have stopped using him literally, even though he's not LB2, he's LB1, 20, and not impactful at all. So yeah, that's the sad part of this hero. He has a unique special, which is deteriorating morale at fast speed, deals 475% damage to the target, and minor damage. It doesn't look any appealing because it'll be half of that. Target nearby enemies get minus 48% attack for 3 turns, and if the effect is removed before the duration ends, the target with the effect will suffer 502. Of course, this 502 increases based on your LB225. The other crazy part in this whole picture is he has lost his impact. Otherwise, that last portion of the special is really fantastic because you can carry a few heroes and really cause mayhem when he used to be new. And of course, the Equalizer War, he is a top hero. I know for almost 6-7 months, I used him in the Equalizer War as part of the defense. But what do I say? Erland Shang. Brimstone stats are low, but when he arrived, part of the construct family is useful. Why? Because he impacts all. Summons an infernal fiend for all enemies, which is where my Arco has had a great time dealing with him. Fiend does his usual stuff, but when summoned, the infernal fiend gives minus 54% defense against fire for its target for as long as the target has infernal fiends. This can't be cleansed. All allies get plus 86% defense against ice. That's specific, which is useful because you'll take an ice to knock this fellow off. Though these days you can knock anybody using any color. So yeah, he used to be really useful, and being the construct fellow used to add to it because his passive would whack everybody and slow things down. But of course, he's also past his prime, require all resources to do a little bit heavy poking. The next one is Ice Element Hero, very fast speed, Skarn. He's a dodger because of the dagger, part of the construct family, and poison giving. I know it's really amazing how many construct heroes are there. This is the third one, if I can remember, or maybe there's one more, fourth. So, Searing Frost at very fast speed, that 185% damage to all enemies is a little low. All enemies get minus 30% defense against ice, so that's specific. All enemies receive 378 frost damage. Of course, this frost damage will get scaled up as you do the LB225. Um, well, I do see him occasionally on some defense because that's how I'll meet because I don't have this hero. And would I level up this hero? Would be an interesting thought, but there are a few others that I'm not even looking at. So this guy enjoys the benefit of being a construct damager. So there is a corrosive poison or that thing which is similar to what Ferrous gives. So yeah, that might be a little bit of fun because damage over time can be insanely painful and with the defense down. So that's that. This is the surprise package because Reelius still is there on quite a few defenses now and then. He's part of the Owl family. His claim to fame is each fallen ally, and that's the first thing that he does. Each fallen ally, an average speed, which means can be functionally fast. So each fallen ally has 40% chance to get revived with 30% HP. Now that's a sizable HP. Now after the ally has revived, what happens? Recovers 30% health for all allies, which includes him too. So there's a massive amount of, see, he comes basically to full health. All allies get Moonrise Ward for 4 turns that reduces the incoming special skill damage by up to minus 800. Reduces damage by additional 30% if the attack is holy. Well, what do I say? He has been painful. And he's the first one that I target to knock off. Of course, now there are crazier heroes to knock him off. But what would be amazing is he could be an absolutely fantastic catch for a lot of rosters who are looking for a reviver that can be functionally fast, that can charge up in 3 matches or 2 big matches. So there you are. You have got Reelius as your tier of 15. It's going to be interesting. Mixed green herbs will of course require, if I were to pick this guy, I would give him LB2. LB2 23. Yeah, till there he would land up. Because then keeping him alive and using him on, another unique thing about Reelius is can be used on offense and defense. So any hero that can be used on offense and defense becomes extra special. I would, on defense, I would put him in left flank to do the job. Yeah, in the wing he'll get killed easily. I love it when I find him in the wing. We move to the tier of 20 souls to get these heroes. So the first one in this is Acidfire. Now he is nasty goblin, but he's also a very old goblin now. The stats give it away. Very, very dodgy and weak stats. Will of course require all the resources, but his impact has gone down. Poisonous Mist at fast speed. 355% damage to the target nearby enemies. Gives the target nearby enemies minus 2 to 5 attack and minus 2 to 5 defense. He has been extremely useful on Titans and this fellow, the Mythic Titans, to get those scores. And yeah, he's nasty. The target nearby enemies reflect status effect buffs to random character on the opposite team. So that is also a very, very good special. So brilliant hero and deservingly in the tier of 20 for that crazy special. Acidfire. Lazara. Now this fellow is part of the, I can't remember what is that, cup family. But 3 passives. Of course, stats are low. Still, I find him now and then on defense and, on defense. Of course, people use him on offense, but defense for sure. Very, very cool home run, but lower stats. Special at average speed. Cleanses status elements from all allies without triggering secondary effects, which means he will cleanse what Erland Shang has given as a status ailment and not trigger the damage. So that's the cool part of his special. Deals 325% damage to all enemies, so that hurts. All enemies get minus 50% decrease for any healing received for 4 turns. Now that is where he kicks ass. All enemies can't get their status ailments cleansed, reallocated by special skills for 4 turns. So he really messes things up. That's what this jerk does. But remember, he's old. Lodius. Now he's also old owl, but he is a single sniping jerk at very fast speed. So I still take him out sometimes. Attacks the target with Moonrise Strike, dealing 2,200 damage and deals 40% more damage if the target is holy. If the target is defeated by the attack, the nearby enemies are unable to gain any mana for 3 turns. Now that's a fantastic special. And the last portion does bring in a bit of survivability because of the counter attack, with 60% of the damage received for 3 turns. He's very fast speed, so he charges a fast and again resets the whole thing. Very useful fellow, deserving of the tier of 20. Star Walker. Wow, the Astral family brings a fellow. I think he was part of the first 2 to arrive and really has enjoyed a lot of love from the game. So deals 200% damage to all enemies, deals additional 450 extra damage if the target has boosted health. All enemies get minus 35% defense for 3 turns. If the effect is removed before the duration ends, the target with the effect suffers 551 damage. Now he's an impact all, and that is why he used to be very, very painful. Shared damage passive helps, and Lazara would be able to save by cleansing status ailments from all allies without triggering secondary effects. That secondary effect of 551 damage if cleansed is where Lazara comes into play. Star Walker, useful but very dated, low stats. The last one in this tier and the offering in Soul Exchange is Garten. Another gargoyle. He is nature, element, average speed, healer. But a jerk. Why? Reduces max health of all enemies by 700 and boosted health guys get an additional 700. So that's straight damage. He's a damaging healer. Then all allies counterattack with 150% damage received and receive 50% of the counterattack damage as boosted health for 4 turns. So yeah, that's really acute. All allies are immune to new status ailments that affect healing for 4 turns and remove status ailments that affect healing from all allies. So that cleansing part is there and prevention. So he is damager, counterattack again damager, and boosted health via the portion. 50% of the counterattack. So that's Garten. Very, very useful fellow. I would be placed. I've really found it funny seeing him at times on defense in the wings. He is good defense fellow on the one of the flanks. I would put him on the, can be on the left or the right flank. Useful. Ideally left, so you can fire first, but still on the right also not bad, because you may have a better option. So these are the fellows that are there. The list of 15, 3 tiers. So what do I think? In the tier of 10, the hero that has My attention is obviously Uwe, unique hero, high impact hero. Rest of the fellows, nope. Aviana might get a consideration because it's last year, but because she is hero of the month, then when I compare with the regular heroes, she technically becomes a hero match up to hero of 2023. So that's a very, very old hero because heroes of the month come with stats that match up with the heroes at least 6 to 9 months prior. That's what the game does. You're not going to get anything free. So Uwe is the one that has my attention. Rest of the heroes, you have to look at your roster and take a call. Carmenta, Tinsel, very, very old heroes. You can have Hallstone if you want, being a construct hero, but will be more impactful primarily on, I would say, offense. So you can have a very customized healer impact and buff. And in buff booster scenarios, he would be fantastic on offense because he can control the hero. Otherwise, can be, I will not be completely, but can be tried on defense too. Why am I saying can be? Because he's not a very powerful healer. He's doing a lot of small things. And that's why he's a jack of all, master of none type of fellow. So that's your tier of 10. It's disappointing to see nothing crazy there. When I look at the tier of 15, clearly Bastit costume stands out because the stats would be a little better due to the costume bonus. And on the other side, Reelius is still useful, both on offense and defense. Offense, of course, but LB225 is required to get Reelius's stats up there. That revive and then heal flow of the special is fantastic, which ensures that Reelius gets to almost 100% health immediately upon revival revival of self for sure, but why am I saying self? Revival of any ally for sure. So any ally will revive, has a 40% chance to revive with 30% HP and then instant 30% healing, which is fantastic. That's Reelius. So I would say Bastit and Reelius. The rest of the fellows, depending on what you have. Skarn will get a little honorable mention. That's it. I'm seeing there are quite a few construct heroes, so I can see 3 till now. Yeah, 3 construct heroes. So we are moving to the tier of 20 souls, where Acidfire, Lazara, Lodius, Starwalker, and Garten. So Garten has still got a very unique special, which is massive damage, because max health reduction is a straight damage. And it's a harder damage compared to other, because here you need boosted health, boosted health healer to bring back that. Otherwise, regular healers will not be able to. And the counter attack, which is again destruction, and boosted health to all allies. So good healer. So really useful fellow. Acidfire past his prime, so I am not very gung-ho on him, but for a lot of rosters he would be fantastic for Impact 3 gameplay, and of course use him against Titans and Mythic Titans. Lazara is useful with that unique cleanse, and of course reduced heal and impact all damage. So many rosters might find value there. Lodius is a sniping, but a fantastic hero, and being an owl has a higher impact. Starwalker has got excellent specials. So when I look at the specials, Starwalker's specials are fantastic, but way past the prime. Those stats are extremely low. If I were to pick up Starwalker, he would only be included for farming, because I use all impact, all heroes for farming. And no, I've got too many of them, so I don't think so. But yes, I've really craved for Star Walker for a long time. And now that, I don't know whether it's a he or a she, but when the chap is available, I'm really feeling upset that 2 years back it would have been fun, but nope. So in this tier, when I look at it, Gotten is my top recommendation for the impact that he causes. Then it's Lodius and Acidfire, depending on what your roster requires. Then it's Lazara and Star Walker. So that's how the flow. I spoke about all the 5 in the 20 soul because they're supposed to be marquee heroes, top heroes on offer. So that's the flow that I have. So, friends, these are the heroes. Those are my thoughts. I'm going to say good luck making your decisions. And that's it. Cheers. Catch you in the next video.